more than one big bad booty daddy on this planet, and you're looking at it because it's craft chest style. Now let's get on with the video because it's America made in China. Okay, before we get started with the video, I want to explain a little something about the Big Bad Booty Daddy. If you don't know who that is, that's Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump, Freakzilla, the Genetic Freak. However you know him, you know, he's in TNA right now, hanging out with Kurt Angle and some little gang and all that. I just thought it'd be kind of like change up the pace of how we've been doing things here lately and have a little fun doing it craft chest style, because you know that's the way you like it. Now let's get on with this video because we got some serious matters to talk about. Get a cup of coffee. We got to talk. Alright, it's been a little while since we had a little bit of fun at the beginning of the video like that, so I just wanted to have a little bit of fun with the Big Papa Pump, Freakzilla, or the Big Bad Booty Daddy, however you know him, Scott Steiner, who is right now in TNA. And yeah, I like me some wrestling from time to time because, in my opinion, TNA is 10 times better than WWE these days. But that's neither here nor there. It's springtime, it's summertime, got to get back in shape. I'm able to fit my pants, my gear pants, my stepping out pants. These are my party pants. Actually, I wear this outfit out a lot of times. I usually wear a t-shirt because of what the back of this shirt says. If you don't watch wrestling, you don't get it. If you don't know who Scott Steiner is, it looks like a gay phrase on the back of it. But I might show you that at the end of the video. But that's not what all this is about. We're going to get on to a very serious subject here today. And what we're going to be talking about is, just like you see in the title, America Made in China. And I should have actually added a little bit of a subtitle there that says China Killing the World. And this is going to be a long series, almost like a Diablo Walks the Earth series. Of course, I am going to make these to the max. I'll probably stop in about 10 minutes or so. And I might actually post the raw footage uncut to the Craft Chest Nation website on the Mogulus player on the on-demand option there. And I have a video posted on how to actually use the on-demand player on our website, which I'll post right over here in the descript, the craftchestnation.webs.com, and come by there. The memberships that have just skyrocketed. We're like over 120 members now in the Craft Chest Nation, and everybody out there is welcome to come join along, because we got the forum section, we got the live players. If you like to see live streaming gaming and just plain out having fun, we got a whole page with 13 different live shows that you can watch. And the other night we actually had a hell of a time. I'm sure Billy Bob and Jet Phase and myself and frickin' who else was on there? Gun Toad got on there, and we all just had a blast. We were watching Seizure Lights on YouTube, rocking out to some music here at my house, and we were just having a good old time. So you never know what you're going to see, and I mean you never know what you're going to see in the Craft Chest Nation at the Craft Chest Nation website via the Mogulus player. And we also, like I said, we have the forums, we got the picture section, we got the video section where I've been posting videos that I don't post here on YouTube, some of the other different types. You can see Craft Chest on the Roof, the one that never actually launched here on YouTube because it loaded a couple of times and I never got a notification or anything. It just went poof every time that I loaded it. But that's something that I came up with 100%, so it's not copyright. I even made the music. And you couldn't tell that, then something's wrong. So anyway, come by the Craft Chest Nation, and there's so many other things. I don't want to take the time. Go watch that video because we did go over that as well. But let's get back to this subject at hand. And we're going to start off by talking to the subject of the pet food recall that nothing ever happened about. And the way this came up is I was over at Kitty and JP's house the past couple of days. And last night we were talking about animals and how they were waiting on their tax check to get in, and how they wish that we could actually claim animals as dependents, because technically, you know, animals that you care for, they live in your house, are dependent on their owners. And I know that argument has been going on for years about, you know, you couldn't justify the worth of a chicken or the worth of a cat or a dog or a horse or whatever. And, you know, the domesticated animals that would live in the pasture versus the ones inside. And I think they really are to at least look at cats and dogs as being a small deductible, because that's where a lot of people, they don't make any money off of them. I know the argument would be people with cattle farms and horse farms and all this. Those people sell those for either livestock or to feed us. So, you know, it's a total different genre right there as far as animals are concerned. But we were just talking about that, kind of joking around. It was funny and that. And I was like, yeah, I'm still upset because they have a little dog, a little pug or something like that. I forget what kind it is. And if JP's watching, I'm sure he'll put the comment because I really don't know the name of this little dog because it's got a mohawk and a lion tail. Very interesting looking dog. And so we were talking about small breeds and how I wish I had a small dog like that again, like I had Little Dog. And here's a picture of Little Dog. I don't know how well you'll see that because of maybe a glare, but anyway, this was the best animal that I'd ever encountered in my life, and I miss this dog. This was a good dog. I mean, you could fold up a towel, put it anywhere, and she would go find that towel and just sit there, or lay down or whatever until you know, called her over, petted her, take her for a walk, whatever. And she was just the most well-mannered animal I'd ever encountered in my life, almost just like a little dog angel, you know, that we all dream of. And that right there was just that was a dream come true as far as an animal in my life. And Dax being the second most favorite because he is world famous. Everybody knows the almighty Dax, and we're not talking about from that video. All right. So anyway, we were talking about that, and I just got to saying, you know, I miss Little Dog, and that still pisses me off about how she was poisoned by this food, and you know how nothing was ever done, because I actually jumped on an advocate site that was dedicated to this food recall, and every turn that we made, we were shot down, cut off, red tape, walls. I mean, you name it. Any little metaphor that you want to come up with, that's what they gave us. And it's crazy to think that we just think of animals as just that, animals. You know, and if they die, so what? And this is not just an American thing either. I want everybody out there to understand this was worldwide. This was a global incident that happened. The name brands were huge. Here in America, the biggest name brands were, I think, Iams, and the biggest name brand that killed the most animals was O'Roy, which I haven't noticed, and these were the wet foods, by the way, and it was made by a bad wheat gluten or protein in the food that they added to it that would actually give the animals renal failure or intestinal and kidney failure. And when I read the symptoms after the fact, and we actually had an autopsy done on Little Dog after she passed away, because I had just caught wind of this story, and I was like, oh my God, I hope, because I was living in the trailer at the time, my house wasn't even rebuilt yet, and that was my companion at the time, because Kitty had moved, and I was in a trailer probably about the size of this room, you know, probably I think it was like a 28 foot trailer, you know, so you know, it was a companion. Dak stayed outside most of the time. He lived in the S10. Yeah, I don't know why. He just stayed in the truck and climbed trees. So anyway, when the house got rebuilt, he was the first one in, though. But that's neither here nor there. So anyway, I'm sitting there feeding this poison to this dog living in close quarters, is my point. Not knowing that I was feeding poison to this dog until after she got sick. And I was like, man, maybe I need to take her to the vet or something like that. I don't know what's going on. And at the same time she got sick, I had planned on going to see a girlfriend, Amanda, down in Florida. And she said, well, just come on, bring Little Dog with you, and that's fine. She goes, my dogs love other animals. It's not going to be a problem at all. And when you get here tomorrow, we'll take her to the vet. She goes, I got the best vet in Pinellas County. You know, we'll go down there and we'll take her to the vet. Well, we made the trip, and I noticed, so I made a couple of pit stops to let her out, and I noticed that she would like squeeze and just you could just see contraction, but nothing would come out. And the whole way down there, it was like one little pea-sized turd the whole trip, and I was like, man, no, usually this dog's got to go outside like 2 or 3 times a day just being at the house, you know. And this is just unusual for me to have an 8-hour car ride, and usually dogs immediately when you let them out, that's what they do, go pee. But she didn't, and it never dawned on me at first that that's what it was, because it wasn't up until that day that I had really caught wind of this food. And this was in 2007 in March. And a matter of fact, it was in March that I made this trip. So it was like the same time that it happened. Well, I get down there and I was like, man, little dog is really not doing good. And so we made her a little blanket and put her in a basket. And I mean, it was just, you know, just so she'd have a place to be comfortable. And I noticed she started having this really bad odor about her.